Oh, this summer has been different. Something I can't describe. Oh, life forced me to listen to the loneliness inside. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yes, it
Hey there, it's me again, and today I'm sharing the story of the summer that didn't go quite the way I wanted to. Yeah, thank you so much for being here and much love. Yeah, going back to springtime this year, I was already aware of the fact that I'll be having 4 weeks off from my job from the kindergarten in the summer, and I really wanted to make the most out of this time. And I remember now looking back that I started weeks or I think even months ahead asking all of my friends if anybody wanted to come on a trip up north to Scandinavia, because it's been just really one of my biggest desires in the last years to explore the spacious and untouched nature of these countries. And when I had spent 5 months in Sweden during the last winter, I was even more determined to come back this summer. And I remember that every time I would tune into my heart, I felt this huge desire to go on a trip, to bring my camera along and to really immerse myself into the magic of life again. And even though it felt so right in my heart at the time, I somehow found myself in a place where nothing really aligned. I had already asked all of my friends, and I reached out for the few contacts I've had in Sweden, and I spent so many hours online trying to find routes to do by bike or by car or whatever, but most options just either didn't work out or they just didn't really feel right, like for example going on a trip by myself. And as time had passed by, I had already spent the first days of my very precious summer break home alone, and I started to feel worried and confused. I really tried my best to trust and surrender, but as the days went on, I just found myself having, so to speak, having wasted the first 2 weeks of my break alone at home. And since suddenly it seemed not just that nobody had time to go on a trip with me, but nobody had time in general. And it was so strange because I felt so committed to making this dream reality this summer. And the more time passed, the more alone and hopeless I felt. And it just felt so painful to feel like I was wasting away this really precious time, and that soon summer would be over and I would have to wait till next year. And I also knew that the longer I was waiting, the less time I'd actually have on my trip. I've had experiences like this before, that sometimes, just somehow everyone seems to not be available, and I all of a sudden fall into this hole of loneliness that just feels actually traumatizing, because it feels like I have no control. And when you don't have access to connection, everything else in your life suffers too. Like, yeah, you just don't feel inspired, you lack creativity, and everything becomes meaningless, and it feels like you can't really do anything about it. And I knew at the time that those feelings arising were feelings from the past, but somehow this time I really struggled. And I know that technically it was just a matter of a couple weeks, but really it brought up so much more for me, to find myself in a place alone, powerless, and knowing that my needs are not getting met. It felt really unsafe and very unpredictable. And yeah, I couldn't make sense of what was happening, and I was really stuck in a space of confusion and feeling unresolved. Yeah, and I think at some point I was able to, cynically accept that I was having a really shitty summer, and I think somehow due to that acceptance, I managed to actually gather up my women's circle group, and I'm so glad this happened because, as it was my turn to share about how I was feeling that night, I immediately started crying a lot because I shared with them how lonely I felt and how my heart felt so broken, and all of this really brought up this huge wound of trying to achieve my dreams with such innocence of just simply wanting to follow my desires, and yet life never cooperating, seemingly being against me. And the more I shared that night, the more I really got to see that my inner child had felt incredibly heartbroken over this whole thing, and not just because of this one time where I had a shitty summer, but from all the times I felt excluded by life when I was little, and when nobody had time for me, when everybody was busy, and it felt like life forgot about my existence, and I had no access to meet my needs. Yeah, and I was actually very surprised by the amount of pain that came up as I was sharing about how I felt. There was this super specific feeling of waiting and then being intentionally stalled or put off, only to be disappointed and neglected at the end of the day. And it always amazes me just how much we all carry inside of us without even being aware of it. And I really started to see just that during those weeks ahead of the summer break and during it, I had been so harsh to myself, telling myself that it's my fault that I'm alone, and only to be drowning further and further in the build-up shame around not having, a good experience when everybody else seems to be so happy and living their lives. And it felt so healing to cultivate the compassion for this part of me who had been so stuck and so unresolved for so long. And I think that many of us, start to blame and shame ourselves when things don't go our way. We find ourselves having painful experiences, but especially in those moments, it's actually so important to not abandon ourselves and to not be pushing ourselves further away, but to have the actual understanding and compassion for what we're going through. And I went through this process of really reuniting with this hurt part of me and really being with it, and it's still so strange and fascinating to me sometimes how life can feel so stuck and slow and like nothing is happening, and then something shifts inside and life picks up a completely different pace and everything changes so quickly. And so I think at some point, I don't remember how exactly, but at some point I was in contact with my friend Sarah from Sweden, who all of a sudden felt the urge to go on a trip and who seemed to also be free while I was still on vacation. There were only very shitty train connections to Sweden, and it seemed like we would only have a week until I had to go back to work again. But I think I felt really calm and trusting because I was so committed to just leaning back and letting life take me and not forcing anything. And I felt, it felt so vulnerable also to plan this trip with Sarah because of what I just had processed before, and it also felt really lovely to be able to have her see me in this fragile state of trying again. And then I stumbled across one last train that wasn't super expensive and that wouldn't take forever to get me to Sweden, so that's then how it started. Okay, oh my goodness, I feel like this is going to be such a raw beginning of this journey to Sweden. So it's actually just checked the time, it's 5:30 in the morning, and I've been awake since, not awake, I've been on the train, busy getting to Sweden since 8 p.m. in the evening, and I was actually supposed to already be in Sweden by now, I think, or yeah, be at the very edge of Denmark, but yeah, something really crazy happened. I didn't really expect that to take that turn, but I was supposed to bring a test on the train with me, even though I was just, you know, basically I wouldn't even be in Denmark. I would just be there for 10 minutes to like go on the next train, but apparently that's not okay. You need to have a test, you know, to show that you're healthy, and I didn't know that, and there's also this whole group of other people that didn't know that. So I guess like at 3 in the morning at some point at the very border from Germany to Denmark, the police came in and they checked everybody, and I didn't know that you needed to have a test in that case. So basically, just to my complete surprise, I had to actually leave the train, and I'm glad that I'm not the only one. There's like, I mean, you probably see it, I'll show you in a minute. There's like 15 other people, I think. And yeah, we all were standing at the train station now for an hour, just waiting around, waiting to like be notified what the next step would be. And now the police drove us back to Germany, and now we have to wait for the bus for 2 more hours, get back to the city, which is called Flensburg, just to get a fucking test in the morning, and then catch the train again to like Copenhagen, and then to go to Sweden. And it's nice because everybody needs to go to Sweden, so we're all just gonna do it together. But it's just the most ridiculous and like, yeah, what's the like the opposite of effortless, like the most effort basically you could put into just traveling to a country that really isn't that far away. And I guess I could have just taken an airplane ticket. Yeah, this is really random, but I guess, you know, to be honest, right now I think it's not that bad, because I am here for adventure, you know. I'm here for the things that go unexpected, and that's why I wanted to go to Sweden for a week, even though it's just a fucking week. But I guess right now it doesn't feel as bad. And it's really random, like if you could only like see where I'm at right now, and right there's like the Danish border, and like nothing's happening because it's literally so early here. But I'm glad I got my camera with me, and I guess it makes it a bit more fun to actually be documenting the whole randomness of this, yeah, of this crazy long ass journey to fucking Sweden, just to go on a road trip.
Hey, here we are. You will always be a part of us. Here we stand, standing far. You will always be a part of us. You will always be a part of us. You will try, you will fall, fly high, you will grow. The sky, be back to your heart, be back to your home. Yes, I will fill your eyes, be back to your light, be back to your soul. I will be the sky, be back to your heart, be back to your home. I will fill your eyes, be back to your light, be back to your soul. Hi, be back to your home. Calling to the same old time, holding to the same old love.
Be able to stay in a place like this just for a night, like I've never seen anything like this before.
It's special for all people.
Yeah.
We are one of the few lucky people who owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Just a lazy day.
Ser du
Wow.
det stora röda huset som bär på hela din dröm? Gå du ner långa trappan till bryggan, båten och sjön. Sommarns alla färger, de finns kvar i mig. Allting som jag ser nu vill jag visa dig. Känner du? Mormor brygger kaffe, så gå och sätt dig bredvid. Morfar som sitter på balkongen med start och ånga kaffe. För sommarns alla färger kommer spegla dig. Jag lovar att du ska fjärde.
I took a photo of mom and she was like, turn it off, it made you sick. It was really terrible.
Don't know why I'm still afraid. If you weren't real, I would make you up now. I wish that I could follow through. I know that your love is true and deep as the sea. But right now, everything you want is wrong. And right now, all your dreams are waking up. And right now, I wish I could follow you to the shore. Freedom, no one lives. Remember when we first met and everything was still a bet and love's game. You would call, I'd call you back, and then I'd leave a message on your answering machine. But right now, everything is turning blue, and right now, the sun is trying to kill the moon, and right now, I wish I could follow you to the shore. Freedom, where no one lives. Freedom, run away tonight. Freedom, run away.
Do you journal in English or in German? In
German.
Swedish.
Hi, it's been eine Kaue today.
What was really special about this time that I spent with Sarah was that we were so tapped into trusting and being so connected to life or the universe or God, whatever you want to call it. And it felt, this was so special because we would often pray and set the intention that we would find the right space to camp, or that we could manifest a sauna because we were really in need of some comfort and nurturing. And whatever we were trying to manifest or call in, we were always surprised with the perfect place or the perfect sauna on a houseboat within minutes or hours. And it felt we were just so connected, and it gave me so much trust and like hope and just it really reminded me of this feeling, which I've been craving for all my life, and I always feel it the most when I'm traveling, when I'm in a space where I don't have plans, where I'm really opening up to each moment. And yeah, it was just so beautiful to be reminded of that does exist, and we are connected, and there's so much more than we think. And yeah, everything is really magical when you really open up to it.
Something to behold, elegant and bold. She is electricity running to my soul. And I could easily lose my mind. The way you kiss me work each time, calling me to come back to bed, singing Georgia on my mind. And lips generous and warm, you build me up like steps.
The time with Sarah was a really good place to be practicing, to be sharing from the heart, and always connecting to what's present with you right now in this moment. And yeah, saying how you feel, even though it's the scariest thing for all of us. And you know, there's a reason for it, because we weren't loved in all of our moments. When we were little, we were, you know, rejected for that, we were pushed away, we were misunderstood, we were shamed for it, and people were angry at it, people would punish us for certain things. So it's very wired into our being to feel unsafe expressing how we really feel. And yet it's the most important doorway to real connection and intimacy, and really having people understand how you feel and what's happening with you in each moment. And that's, to me, the only thing that really fulfills me. Yes, so I'm really thankful I got to practice that with my friend Sarah, which was super wonderful, and to just have a friend by my side who I felt so comfortable with, and to feel safe and cozy, and somebody you can cuddle with, and yeah, just be very loving towards. And yeah, it just felt really wonderful. So thank you, Sarah, so much.